What is going on, guys? Crowder here, and if you guys do not know who I am a former world champion Call of Duty player, and I am now the head coach of Atlanta FaZe, and basically in general, I play way too much Call of Duty. I do this for a living. I just unlocked Dark Matter, I think a day and a half ago, and a lot of you guys wanted a Dark Matter guide on how to get it as fast as possible, or just some tips and tricks to help you get through some of the tougher challenges, and I am here to go through everything from the basics, the map strategy, to tips and tricks on some challenges to help you on your Dark Matter grind, because this is one of the most annoying grinds and frustrating ones if you're doing it wrong. So let's get into it. And you can see right here, this is what Dark Matter looks like right now. This is just a C9, a random gun. And truly, I actually think Dark Matter looks really, really good in this game. And I know a lot of people are struggling with certain things. So we're going to start off with the basics, and that is going to be what perks you are running. And this is probably one of the most important things in this video, though, because these perks are an actual cheat code in Black Ops 6. And the perks that I am talking about are right here on your screen. You can see that it is Ninja, Engineer, and Vigilance, but that is not actually what I am talking about. It's not about the specific perks you are using. It is about the color of the perks that you're using, because you get this specialty perk if you use a triple blue, and you get the Recon specialty perk. And what that perk is going to do is going to say enemies can be seen through walls for a short time after respawn. So when you spawn in, you are going to have wall hacks for a couple of seconds while you were playing the game. And when I get to the best mode to play and the best game modes and maps and all that stuff, you're going to see why that is so important. So make sure you are running triple blue perks. But for anybody that is saying, I really can't play this game without dexterity, it feels too clunky, or you need a red perk or you need a green perk, not only is there a different method, you can use primary gunfighter and stack your weapon, but if you really don't want to do that, I change my gun right here and I go to my wild card. If you take off primary gunfighter and you put on perk greed, you actually get one more perk for the fourth perk, and you can have a fourth perk of whatever you want and still get that specialty perk too, which is really, really nice to obviously have that too. So there's a couple ways you can kind of balance these perks. It doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you have the specialty perk of Recon, you are ready to go. And then next up is going to be one other tip that comes kind of along with creating your class, and it is going to be when you are making your class and how you're actually doing it. So there's a few ways that you can kind of go about getting Dark Matter. You can play hardcore, you can play regular core, just regular Call of Duty, or you could play Mosh Pit, which is going to be core or hardcore as well. So now, depending on the playstyle of how you want to do it, when you are playing either hardcore or core and there are score streaks able to be called against you, you should always have your secondary as your launcher, just to kind of slowly progress and shoot down those score streaks or get some enemy kills while you can. So when you get to the launchers, it is going to be a little bit easier. Now, this isn't anything too crazy. Most of you guys that have been grinding, this has kind of been the strategy all year, but you can see that these challenges are actually going to be get kills or score streak kills with your launcher. So having this equipped, and every once in a while there's a UAV in the air or an RCXD car or a SAM turret, or you just see someone AFK and you want to get an easy kill with the launcher, you can do it that way too. It's kind of just like passively leveling up that launcher of all these challenges while you can. But again, that's just something to keep in mind. And if you're not really going to play any of that and you're only playing Mosh Pit, which is basically what I did, and I will explain the best game modes here in a second, you don't really need to do this. But that is just a disclaimer where if you want to kind of work on your launchers as you're playing the game, it's really not a bad idea to keep a launcher as your secondary, even though a lot of the times you probably wouldn't. So you can keep either a launcher or a pistol, however you want to do it. But now we're moving on to the best game modes and then the strategy of the maps that you are going to play. So the way I did it personally, and the way I just really like to do this grind, it can be frustrating, it can be very fast paced, but it is going to get the job done at the most efficient way, is go to find a match, and you go to quick play. You hit filter, which is going to be square to hit filter, and you can play core or hardcore. Now, I do not recommend playing core to anybody going for this challenge, except for a few guns that we will get to here in a second. And the reason why is the headshot multiplier in this game is not very good, and in general, it is going to be pretty hard to get consistent headshots when you are playing core. So I would recommend going to the hardcore section and playing any of these game modes when you're playing hardcore. I would say this is the second fastest way, just because when you do one other thing, which you can see it's already checked off, hardcore, face-off, mosh pit. Face-off, mosh pit consists of 4 maps. It's going to be Stakeout, Warhead, Pit, and Gala. Those 4 maps are going to be the fastest paced, most action-packed maps that you guys can get to get quick and easy headshots, a lot of action, a lot of interactions, and giving yourself more opportunity to get the headshots, right? So hardcore, face-off, mosh pit is going to be your best friend. And then if you pair this up every time you spawn in with the specialty Recon wall hacks, you're going to see people on your screen that you're going to actually be able to get basically a free headshot when you spawn in by just pre-firing at their head. And it's going to make it a lot easier when it comes to the general idea of just getting the most headshots are the most bang for your buck when you're kind of playing the right game modes with the right perks. And now that we have our perks done and the best game modes to play, which is going to be hardcore mosh pit, these 4 maps that I'm showing you right here on the bottom of the screen are going to be important. Now, you can't always control what map you play on. I don't recommend playing Gala or Pit too much. I don't really like those 2 maps. I just feel like getting headshots consistently on them were kind of a pain in the ass for me. I think Gala was a little bit better than Pit. Pit was my least favorite map, weirdly enough, but a lot of this is also going to be preference of what fits your playstyle, but I'm giving you the tips that work best for me. So the 2 maps that I would recommend out of the 4 would be Stakeout as number 1 because it is the most action. It is really close quarters. You're going to see a lot of people and have a really good opportunity to do point blanks, triple kills, knife kills, direct impact kills, basically anything that you need to do, you can do on Stakeout. And then Warhead is kind of the other map that I really, really liked for headshots, but for longer range weapons. So write this one down really quick if you want the absolute fastest method. You have 2 maps, Stakeout and Warhead. When you are playing those 2 maps, you're going to have multiple classes made. So for example, right here, I have a Model L, which is going to be a longer range assault rifle. You can use this on Stakeout, but you can also very easily use this on Warhead, right? So when it comes to the maps that you get, when you get a Warhead team deathmatch or any of the sort and you get that map, you want to use your longer range weapon. It could be a sniper rifle, an assault rifle, an LMG, and so on and so forth, because it is going to be easier on Warhead to get headshots with those longer range shots, where when you're using a submachine gun or you're using a pistol or a shotgun, that map is going to be absolute hell. So have a few classes made, so depending on the map that you get, you actually can use the most efficient gun, and you're kind of doing 2 guns at once, and it might not feel as rewarding at first because you're not getting 1 gun gold out of the way right away, but eventually you'll get close to a couple guns at once, and then you'll get them all gold in a game or 2, and you'll really speed up the process. So when you're playing Warhead, stick to your long-range weapons. If you need just easier kills for your pistols and your SMGs, that's when you want to play Stakeout. So make sure you kind of have multiple guns set up so you can always use the map that you actually get to your full advantage. So whatever kind of works for you on Pit and Gala as well, I would find a kind of a rhythm of what maps kind of fit best for your playstyle. When I would play Gala, I would use a sniper. When I would use Warhead, I would use those longer-range weapons. Stakeout would be pistols, shotguns, and all of that. And then Pit was kind of my in-between of whatever I can use at the time. And now it's not always going to work out perfectly, but if you kind of use the right gun on each map too, it will make the experience way less frustrating. So, and one really quick tip before we get into any of the, challenge kind of tips and tricks is going to just be like what you use on your guns. Personally, I used a red dot. The Kepler Microflex was kind of my favorite red dot for it, but I would recommend either using a red dot, a holographic sight, or like a 2 or 3 times magnification scope. This is all going to be preference of what you shoot best with. And then again, you want to use your centering to kind of shoot for the head. And if you don't know what centering is and you haven't watched my aim guide, you should absolutely go kind of do that. But either way, make sure you are centered on their head with any of the optics that you use. But if you guys want my personal favorite, it was the Kepler Microflex. That was the best red dot in the game for me. And then if I wasn't using that, I was using a holographic sight. But either way, that's the kind of the scopes that I would use. The attachments are all really whatever you want. You're playing hardcore, so again, it's that first bullet that matters. So that scope is probably going to be the most important optic. And now I'm going to show you some angles on my 2 favorite maps of what I was really kind of rocking to kind of get those easier headshots and also centering for the head. And then we're going to show you some other stuff. So yeah, really quick, we're going to start on Warhead. And you can see the clips in the background. I'm not actually playing right now. These are just pre-recorded. You're going to have some angles on Warhead where you can either go to the box heady and then kind of look across to the back right cliff. That is a really good head glitch to head glitch kind of fight that if you kind of get there early and you pre-aim it before they turn the corner, you will have a really good chance of getting headshots because people like to slide into that head glitch. And you can actually reverse that, and you could be the guy at the cliff and you could be aiming at the box, or you can go onto the Warhead head glitch right here. You can actually go behind it and aim at the box or aim inside the crate, or you can even aim into the bus to get really, really easy headshots. And those are kind of some of my favorite angles on that map. And if you move over to Stakeout, you can basically see that on Stakeout, there's not going to be crazy angles. I would probably recommend this balcony spot of just staring at the balcony, and you're going to be centered head high, so when they turn the corner, you're going to be getting pretty easy kills like you can see right now. And you can also go to the middle doorway and you can center at the doorway right there. You can also then go to the hallway and crouch behind the desk, and you can kind of center their head as well right there. And if you don't know what centering is again and you haven't watched my aim guide, basically your reticle placement, make sure you are placing it either at the head height or a little bit higher than the head height, so you actually really have a good chance of pre-firing and getting those headshots. But those are my favorite angles in a nutshell. You can kind of play some closer angles here too. You can see on Stakeout, you can get either in corners and kind of do the same thing, but instead of taking a long range fight or challenging a long range where they'll be also probably looking at you. You can sit in off angles or corners as well and just let people run by you and try and get those headshots as well. And the games are so fast and quick and basically like a couple minutes at a time sometimes that in Mosh Pit, you have such a good chance of getting so many headshots when you play these maps. But all right, that's all the basic stuff that I'm kind of going to explain to you guys. Now let's get into some of the harder challenges that I'm going to show you some angles, and I'm actually going to live walk through some of them too, just to help you out a little bit. And hopefully this helps you. If you guys want more tips, or I missed something that you think that I could have probably covered in this video, or you're just confused about something, drop a comment below. Help the community out. You guys help each other in the comments below if you guys have better tips and tricks that work for you. And if you ever have a question about something, I stream live every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/Crowder, and I am going to be there to answer any of your questions as well. And I'm usually live at 6 a.m. Central Time for about 8 hours as well. So if you want to catch me there and I missed anything, I'm always open to questions in my chat. But for now, let's start off with probably the most annoying challenge outside of those headshots, and it is point blanks. All right, so really quick, I'm in a private match. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about before I actually go into a game and show you a few examples. Not too many, but just to give you the basic idea. Point blanks are the most annoying thing. You basically have to be inside of them for it to register as a point blank, and I'm not kidding. So the best advice that I can give anybody when it comes to point blanks is playing close quarters. Now, obviously, that is common sense, but what I mean by that is lay down close corners like this and actually wait and have patience for someone to run by you. If you react in time, don't hold your aimer too close because you're not going to react to that. You're not a superhuman. Hold it out here, so hopefully someone is like trying to sprint in or sprinting close like that, and you're actually going to be able to just shoot one bullet because it's hardcore mosh pit and get a really easy point blank kill. And then basically what you're going to want to do is find angles like that all over the map. So what I would do is go to hot spots of the map, get here, and then lay down. So if they're spawning on that side of the map, I would get right here and I would wait. And now it's very frustrating. It's a very hard grind. Sometimes they're going to have the wall hacks and pre-fire you, but the best thing you can do is keep doing it and try again until you obviously get them. A lot of the times it's going to be a 30 point blank challenge. So you want to play close angles like that. You can go into this vent. You can play a close angle like this. And then when he actually runs in, make sure you're also walking towards them as they run in. So if you see him run in and he takes a few steps this way and you shoot, it's not going to be a point blank. So make sure as he runs in, you follow him and you're actually shooting at them as well, because you're going to have to make sure you can do that. So another tight angle would be like this way. You can let him run through the door that way. Another good thing that I was doing is I was sitting on this balcony, and again, he runs out this doorway, boom, point blank. I'd get close to this doorway, they run in here, boom, point blank. You have to get close and personal with all of your kills and go to hot spots of the map that you can do it. Also, if they were spawning on this side of the map and you somehow like got into their spawn, I would crouch right here. And a lot of people like to go onto this balcony and like, you know, kind of do this challenge. If they do that and you're sitting in this corner, boom, point blank. So the general idea is going to be find a hot spot of the map, lay down in a close corner, and go for your point blanks there. I'm going to go into live action time right now and show you kind of what a few point blanks is, and then we are going to move on. Let's go. And perfect. We get Steakhouse, and we are getting absolutely slammed, and I'm going to show you what I would do right now for point blank. So just like I was showing you in those angles before, I would wait here. My teammates are pushing up, so I'm going to get a little bit closer, get a little bit more greedy, and boom, point blank right there. You want to lay down at those close corners and then do it all over again. I'll do it a few more times to see if I can just show you guys what I'm talking about with different angles. You lay down here enough. Hopefully the wall hacks don't kind of get you. Right there, another point blank. So on any map, you apply the same principles when it comes to getting point blanks, and that is just going to be how you do it. It's going to be very frustrating, very annoying, but you can do it if you do it the right way. So just get into the action, lay down close corners, and then you play with some patience, and then you can do it over and over on any area of the map that obviously you have some good spots like this. So right here, I'm going to try to get one more. Let's see if we can do it. And just like that, we get another point blank, baby. So that's kind of point blanks in a nutshell. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and next tip that we're going to be talking about is the weapon swapping kills and actually getting them to register and or just getting them easier. So really quickly, it's kind of basic. If you're using a weapon swap kill right now, the hardest one I would say is using the baseball bat. That is a challenge for the baseball bat. Now, I don't have the baseball bat unlocked, as you guys can see, but this exact same idea will apply when you're using the baseball bat. If anything, probably even more. So make sure you guys are listening up. But also the GS45 has the weapon swapping challenge as well. So I'm going to go into a game right now and explain everything that I am talking about. But really quick before we start, a good perk for this challenge is using fast hands, because this actually makes your weapon swap a little bit faster, which will help you get more kills. There's two things that you have to keep in mind here. A, you have to make sure your gun is fully out before you swap. So you can't just go like that. That's kind of too quickly. What you want to do is have your gun fully out and then swap and go for a kill. I would say the time window of this is only like 1 to 2 seconds, so you have to make sure you really time it right. So you want to get into a hot spot of the map, kind of wait around, and then swap to your gun and then go for a kill. But the most important thing that I'm about to explain to you guys is this. You want to make sure you shoot a bullet or two, swap, and then go for a kill. And you can see on the top right there, I got a hot swap medal. When you're using the bat, you will not get a hot swap medal because you're not shooting bullets in your bat, or like out of your bat, of course. So all you want to do, though, to make it register is shoot, swap, and then go for a kill. And then that's going to count as a weapon swap kill. For some reason, it just doesn't always work. And once you shoot a bullet or two out of your gun, I think you have plenty, as much time as you want, and then you can swap and then kind of go for kills like that. And you can see it works too. So it's not about when you shoot the bullet out of your primary gun. It's just making sure the game registers that you're using your primary gun. And once you do that, it is pretty easy to get these kills. It's just going to take some patience and getting shit on a little bit. So now for triple kills with a knife, you want the knife equipped. But I think the biggest thing for this is you want to make sure you can have your triple perks here. You don't have to have fast hands on anything. These are just different perks that I have for a different class. But if we switch over to this one and go to the knife, you want to make sure you have your knife equipped, and then you want to make sure that you have smoke grenades. Now you can also take off primary gunfighter for this challenge because you don't really need primary gunfighter on your primary gun unless you're doing this passively, of course. But you can also use the tactical expert, which would give you spawning with 2 tacticals, which is 2 smokes. And then you can kind of just really get crazy from there. So I'm going to throw a different gun on here, throw my tactical expert on there, and have 2 smokes and my recon to kind of get into their base, flank, and go for 3 pieces. But the big thing with this challenge, like I mentioned earlier, there are going to be very few games that you actually want to run regular core for. The melee is one of them. The baseball bat I wouldn't recommend for triple kills because you actually have to hit someone twice with the baseball bat. The other finish mechanic is a little bit too slow for triples. So you really want to make sure you're going for the core melee since it's a 1 hit. So what I would do for the melee is I go find a match, and instead of playing on my hardcore, I would go face off mosh pit, and then I would queue into this. All right, so now that we are in the lobby, we're in a warhead team deathmatch. We're gonna switch to our melee, and now this is something that I would specifically really try to do on stakeout really only. But of course, if you don't have time to do that, or you're just not getting stakeout a lot, what you want to do is use those smokes to get into their spawn, and then once you're in their spawn, try and go a little bit crazy and try and get those kills. So that's 1 kill right there. It's not going to be a double, but you have a lot of time, basically 5 seconds until you have to get that second. You can kind of wait in their spawn once you flank into it, and then every once in a while, you're going to kind of get lucky like this, and you're going to be able to go for kills in regular core and potentially get that triple. Now, I didn't get the triple again, so I'm going to wait in their spawn one more time, kind of play with patience, open up that first kill. I'm not going to get it. So now, it wasn't the triple kill that we wanted, but we were able to get into their spawn and have a good chance, so we're going to try and go for it again. There we go. We're going to get to their base. Going to play with some patience here. We hear some shots to our left. See if I can find this guy. We're going to get 1. That guy's over there. I'm not going to be able to knife that guy, but the spawn's just flipped. So we're going to have to kind of do this all over again. And a good way, too, to do this is also getting into this middle house and having chances to get double and triple kills just like I almost did right there. So we're going to throw some smokes here. Run across. Throw a smoke there. Run across. Get into their base. And this is why you play core with the knife, because if you don't play core with the knife, I would have been dead right there. And now I actually have a pretty good opportunity to kind of do this. So they know I'm in their base right now. This is going to be pretty tough, but we're going to go for it. Going to try and get in there. Not going to get in there. All right. So yeah, that's the basic idea of what we're talking about. Now, this is not something that I spawned into and got triple kills just right away. This took me a lot of grinding and a lot of frustration and a lot of rage. But once you get it, you'll understand like how to kind of do it. So you flank into the base again. You see one guy into their base. You go for 1 kill. You're looking for more people. They usually spawn either under you or back right, so I'm going to try and flank their spawn right now. Let's see if I can get lucky and get some spawn kills here. I got an AFK, that's 1. Oh, we flipped their spawn again. That's not going to work. This guy might be 2. Not going to be 2. All right. We need 1 last good attempt here. That's 2. Come on, where's the 3rd? Oh, that would have been the 3rd. But yeah, you can get the general idea of how I got it done. It just takes a lot and a lot of kind of just getting smoked and trying to do it over and over again. It's not a fun part of the grind, but that is the best tips and tricks I have when it comes to getting a triple kill with the knife. And you do the same thing with the bat, but just in hardcore, and it's also a huge pain in the ass. But that is kind of what you have to do. That's going to take a lot of patience. If there's any better tips or tricks that you guys kind of found out let me know. I know a lot of people are talking about stuns and flash grenades. I personally feel like those weren't helping me that much. But again, use my comment section as a community to help each other to get this grind done as smoothly as possible for you guys, so you guys don't rage as much as I was. And again, if I missed any challenges that you really struggle with, again, twitch.tv/Crowder, come into my chat and ask me kind of what you were struggling with, and I'll do my best to help you out. These are probably the hardest ones that I feel like most people are asking about, and also just the hardest ones that I struggled with the most, that I felt that I can give some insight to. And it's going to be launchers. Now, we haven't talked about launchers yet. I know launchers are probably the most annoying thing, and if you go to the launchers right now, the passive way that I explained earlier is just kind of destroying score streaks and all that stuff as you are going through the game. I would recommend, if you're trying to just get your 100 kills with the launcher, just to go into a hardcore game and play some stakeout and just start sending launchers down the hallway and getting kills on Warhead or any of the other maps. It's pretty simple. But if you are going to be going for dark matter, you're gonna have to do a few challenges that are really annoying, and it is going to be the annoying challenges of actually getting destructions in a single match. It's 3 score streak destructions in a single match to actually get your gold. So it's going to be over here for the gold attachment. You can't see it right now because I have it unlocked already. When it comes to getting gold on this launcher, it's pretty easy. They call UAV, you lock on, you get easy ones done. What we'll go over right now is direct hits with the launcher, and we'll also go over the other launcher that quite literally took me almost 4 hours to get. It stalled my dark matter grind so much. If you guys watched my stream, you guys saw me raging about this gun. I never want to use this launcher again. But I'm going to show you a clip of how I was shooting the UAVs and the counter UAVs, because it's just really, really hard. But I'm not going to lie, guys. When I was using this launcher and going for gold, in order to get score streaks called against me, I was literally going into a regular domination, a core domination, or a hardcore domination, and just feeding streaks, running straight at them, going basically 0-30, so they kill me enough times to get a UAV, to then call the UAV so I can actually destroy the UAV, the RC car, the SAM turret. And this is just something that, A, you can't really control if they're going to call their streaks, so you kind of just have to have a lot of patience, really get shit on to do this, and then really clutch up when you actually can shoot your UAVs. So before we go through the UAVs and the score streak destroying, I'm going to show you what I did for direct hits, and then I'm going to show you some clips and talk about the UAV stuff that I was struggling with and something that actually fixed my struggles. And then I'm going to show you one last overall review of this video and a document of what I was talking about throughout the whole thing. And then you guys can go on your dark matter way as smoothly as possible, and hopefully this video helps. Let's go. All right, so now we got a Warhead kill order, so that's going to be the quickest game ever. But this one is as simple as possible. I would kind of wait for stakeout more on this challenge if you could. But either way, to show you what it looks like on not stakeout, I would get into a, hot spot like this. Then I would kind of wait to see if someone would run through the doorway. And then if they would, I would go for the direct hit. So right here, I'm going to try and go for the direct hit right there. I might have gotten it. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you when you got a direct hit. But you want to get into tight angles or close angles, so when they run into a doorway, you have a good chance. On stakeout, you can send rockets down the hallway and stuff too. But you can get up here, and then again, this is all going to be patience. I'm going to aim in just like that and go for some kills again. So I'm going to keep going to hot spots. I see someone through the wall right there. I'm going to hopefully say that he was walking into that door, as that did, probably not. But the more you get into this, now you can just kind of be patient here. I'm going to wait until someone goes right there, and then boom, that would be a direct hit if he wasn't an HVT. So getting the hot spots of the areas of the maps and then just really waiting and being patient is very, very important. The same thing here. I'm going to go like this, but I'm going to actually have my centering a little bit to the right. So if he runs in, I would be able to get that kill. It's going to be really, really annoying, but it is very possible to do. It's going to be one of these things that just take a lot of patience. I'm going to try and snipe that guy from afar. I actually might have just got a direct hit on that one. But yeah, direct hits are kind of self-explanatory. Just wanted to explain a little bit of philosophy behind that. And now it is time for the hardest challenge out of everything that we've talked about. And here we go. This is a clip from my stream. My camera is behind me right now, so you can obviously not see that it's in my stream, but you can see that I'm going for the gold, diamond, and dark spine challenges right now. And when I am going to shoot UAVs down with the HE1, which was my absolute kryptonite, I was not very good at it. It's even funny that I'm giving you tips and tricks on this, but this is what helped me through my struggles. Is A, I waited for a lot of RCXD cars. That was the easiest one to do. You want to use the perk Engineer, and the reason why you want to use perk Engineer is because if you use the Engineer perk right here, you can actually see RCXD cars, UAVs, and all that stuff through walls. So when someone will call an RCXD car, I can actually kind of see it where it's going. I would chase it down and I would shoot it with a rocket. If you want to talk about UAVs and counter UAVs, this was my biggest, I guess eye-opening event to this. Is I watched a lot of tutorials on YouTube of how to actually shoot this down because I was struggling so bad that I was looking for tips. And every single time I watched a video of like this guy shooting down a rocket, or a UAV with this rocket, it would look so easy. I would do the same exact thing and it just wouldn't work. So now, two things that I noticed. A, some UAVs are farther away from you and closer to you, just depending on the map and all that stuff. So it's always going to be a little bit of RNG. Counter UAVs are a little bit easier. They're a bigger target, and also you don't have to lead as much. But a lot of players play on 120 FOV or really, really wide FOVs. And I think that has a big reason to do with some of the tutorials not working out for me. And in this clip right here, you're going to see that I noticed right before this game started that my FOV was at 105, which is what I normally play on in multiplayer. But a lot of tutorials that I was watching, I think, were players that were playing on like wider FOVs because they were, you know, freaking cracked out. So I ended up having to lead a little bit more than I anticipated because I had the closer FOV, and it ended up working in this clip. So you're going to see right here that I see this UAV right here. And now if you pause this and, like, you know, until I fire, you can see the counter UAV. It's still barely in my scope as I fire, and I'm gonna try and, you know, really slow this down for you guys. It's still right there. It's barely in though, basically not in my scope at all. And then I fire, and once I do that, that was the method that was really working for me every single time I was using a counter UAV destruction. So that one on the counter UAVs I got down pretty easily, and that was with 105 FOV. I think in general it's pretty easy with the counter UAVs. I would recommend trying the counter UAVs and kind of replicating that method. But with regular UAVs, I swear to God, before I figured out this FOV thing, I was like 2 for 80. I was not hitting any of these. You're gonna see here there's a UAV in the sky right here. So now you can see that I found this UAV. Now we're gonna go right here, right there. So that's out of the scope. But right here is kind of what I was doing, which most people were telling me what to do. But with my FOV, I let a little bit more. You're going to see my red dot drag a little bit to the left here. I drag a little bit more to the left, like, you know, like an inch or so to the left. I fire off, and I'm able to actually get that UAV destruction through the trees. And you can see my reaction right there. I was pretty goddamn happy about it. So getting absolutely shit on is really important to actually feed streaks for the other team. And then that is kind of my tutorial of how I was shooting UAVs to hopefully help you guys out. All right, and the final step of this video is just going to be this document on your screen right now. It's going to be very bare bones, and obviously just bear with me. But the general idea of what I was saying earlier is if you want to do your knifes or snipers and you're only doing knifes or snipers, I'd recommend them doing them in core. You can easily do your knife and snipers in hardcore, but those are just two weapons that you're going to get the one-shot headshot anyway with a sniper in core, so you actually kind of can take more damage, but still get the headshot, so you don't have to play hardcore for that. And the same kind of thing goes for the knife. And even if you're just using the bat for regular kills, you can do the L1 finish move, which is going to work as well. But regardless of the sort, you can probably play core if you're just doing those categories. And if you're doing hardcore and you want to do everything at once, you can obviously do all the rest of the categories too. But this is kind of how I just had it sanctioned up for myself. And then when it comes to the maps down here, you're going to see that when I was playing Stakeout, I would really try and focus on any of these guns in these classes. You're going to be able to get a lot more headshots on Stakeout and all that stuff, like I said earlier in the video, with the shorter range weapons than, for example, if you play a Warhead and you were trying to use a shotgun. If you don't get into that middle house, it's going to be absolute hell for you. So that's kind of how I did it, kind of passively doing them all at once. And then Warhead and Gala was my snipers, assault rifles, light machine guns, and marksman rifles. And then Pit was everything or just leave. I don't like Pit, you guys know that, but I would do like pistols on Pit here and there. Every once in a while, I would do like the knife or the bat, just because you can throw smokes in the middle and kind of get crazy with the strategy that I showed you. I know there's going to be a lot of personal preference. And the last thing of this video before I let you guys go is going to be, if you go to community.gg and then the camo tracker, you can actually track all your camos by just, like, you know, clicking them in and all that stuff too. And it is a pretty cool way to track that if you want. This is what I did for my stream purposes, but also it gives you the challenges that you need to do. And if there's anything that I missed, again, please leave a comment down below. Help each other out. Let's use this channel to make sure that we can all help each other out, get all the challenges and all the fun stuff that we want done as smoothly as possible and at our own pace. So hopefully this video helped you. This is the first time I've done something like this. So if you enjoyed this kind of content as well, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Guys, peace out.